silence.
Hello and welcome to the Sound of Football podcast. I'm Graham Sibley, and as ever I'm joined by Jan Bilton.
Hello.
And Terry DeFellon.
Hello.
Jan's trying out a new microphone this week, so hopefully it's going to sound a bit different this week, but he's ironing out the kinks, isn't he, Terry?
Definitely ironing out the old kinks. He does sound a little bit more cathedral-like, a bit more stately, I'd have to say.
I think
more
so.
rounded.
Yeah.
This is more like the Jan that we hear, listeners, rather than the sort of like other microphoned Jan that you're used to listening to. Yeah, much fuller, I'd say. Much fuller.
Yeah, thank you. I actually do live in a cathedral, hence the cathedral-like sound. But yeah, so hopefully I sound a little bit crisper. And people go, I thought it was his accent. But no, he's still got the accent.
Should stress it's a cathedral with a poster of Hunt for Red October on the walls as well. So it's
and Blade Runner as well.
And Blade Runner. So it's a strange denomination, but hey.
Well, we've all come back down from the heady excitement of the first weekend of the season, when all that optimism gets dashed with the first result of the season. Now, of course, that didn't happen for my team, Arsenal. Arsenal started on Friday night. Had a lovely time. Welcomed Coventry back to the Premier League after a 25-year absence and had a nice, comfortable home win, 3-0, as we kind of predicted in the box set. However, for you guys, it wasn't so straightforward, was it? Jan, Sunderland didn't get off to a winning start, did they? But did you feel okay about it, or were you a bit disappointed by the manner of the defeat?
The manner of the defeat was awful. I mean, both goals were completely our fault. We gave the ball away to them and were punished for it. The first goal, I have to say, I mean, Ipswich, I think, are going to, on that display, on a sample of one, they looked very good. We gave the ball away just inside of their half and it just broke away and flew past our static defenders. So, yeah, it was a good win for them. Jack Clark, who used to play for Sunderland, got the winner when we put the ball at his feet. Well, the ball was put at their feet, he got the ball and off he went and scored past us, which made it even more of a sorry afternoon. But yeah, it was completely our own fault, but they were a bit rusty. There's a lot of players at the World Cup. And I did think at first, oh my God, all these pundits are predicting Sunderland's doom this season are probably right. But then I looked at the rest of the league and saw that a lot of teams had a bad day at the office, so I'm feeling a little bit better about that.
Yeah, we're going to go on to talk about some of the teams that had very, very, very bad days at the office. But before we do, Terry, Palace, I'm not sure if that was a surprise or not really, that result, because yet again, Palace have started the season in a bit of disarray, haven't they? Considering that they had the time to bed in their new manager, and yet they start the season with Ismail Sarr on the brink of leaving the club. JP Mateta at it again with some picking, well, I don't know what the detail is. He's picking up sub-clauses in his contract or something. Terry, what's your understanding of the whole thing?
First of all, apart from the guys, we never win at Everton, so it's fine. so we didn't win at Everton, and that's fine. So that's fine. Mateta is disputing, his contract. He thinks that the last season of his contract is void. And I'm not across the story enough to know the specifics of why he thinks that. But nobody appears to agree with him. But it suggests that he is agitating to get that move that he wants. So with only a few days left in the transfer window, it could be an awkward time. Ismail Sarr, reading between the lines, I know there's a possibility of he does have an injury, but reading between the lines, actually, you don't have to read between the lines. It's pretty clear. He looks like he wants to go. I think there's a possibility of a move to, I think it's Galatasaray. I don't blame either of these players for wanting to move on, actually. They are both of an age where they could still move on for quite significantly improved contracts. And, it's a short career. It's just the timing is just rubbish. I mean, we have made some interesting signings, young players that have come in, and I am quite excited about Palace's season. But yeah, I think that there's going to be a little bit more squad transition to come. And I mean, Jan will probably understand it. Maybe not so much because obviously last season Sunderland had this wild transfer window where they just like bought everyone. But generally speaking, for middle class, lower middle class clubs, you usually can find yourself at the fag end of the transfer window because like there's stuff going on above you that's happening. It's having knock-on effects on what you're doing. And it looks like there are some unresolved issues that are hanging over. I don't know to what extent that's anyone's fault. And I just think we just have to manage it. So I don't think it's anything to get worried about. Interestingly, there is a rumour about Jared Bowen coming to Crystal Palace.
That would be a good move, wouldn't it?
Would it? He's a fine player, don't get me wrong.
Player.
He's a brilliant player. But I mean, he had previously nailed his colours to the West Ham mast, hadn't he? So I'm wondering what circumstances have driven that. Again, it's rumour and may turn out to be absolute brouhaha and nonsensical. But I don't know how I feel about... I mean, he's a brilliant player, but he is a West Ham player, you know? I mean, I don't know how I feel about him playing in the Crystal Palace shirt. I mean, if he was going to Liverpool, Chelsea, even, you know, I mean, Arsenal, I mean, you know, bigger club, big step up, more money, Champions League football, prospects of trifles, definite prospect of trifles and titles as well. Everyone wants to be in a trifle winning squad, lads. That's just how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, who doesn't, right? Then I could understand it. But like a Palace, like that's a sideways move, really. I mean, I know we're in the Europa League, but that's a sideways move. I'm not certain how I would feel about that. But yeah, he's a terrific player.
The rumour was that he didn't leave West Ham because his wife, Danny Dyer, not the Dyer, the other one, is in what's that show they dance on BBC? I don't know, my kids love it. I can't stand it. But anyway, you know what I'm on. The dancing show on the BBC where they all wear sequins.
Is that Strictly? Strictly.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
You know the name of it, Jan, because you
I do
rush
now.
home from football to watch it every Saturday during the winter.
That's the most authentic take we've come across. You're not fooling anyone with that. Now with your new upgraded microphone, like we can tell when you're lying, Milton.
Every nuance is there.
Oh, God.
Anyway, lads, I've got to go.
I'm not from Wales. Brilliant Welsh accent there, sorry. No, but anyway, so apparently he wanted to stay around London to support his wife, but of course moving to Palace, that would be...
Achieve that,
but
yeah.
I don't think that's a sideways move for him, to go from the Championship with West Ham to go to be playing in Europe with Palace. That's a step up, definitely. And at the time of his career as well, he wants to be playing at the top as much as he can. So, yeah, I mean, you might have some reticence because he's West Ham, but I think... unbelievable player. I think you'd add to it, especially if Mateta's always seems to be angling for a move away, though, doesn't he? Didn't he do that last season?
Yeah. That's when he almost did. I mean, he failed a medical and didn't go to Milan. That's just JP, lads. And I think Palace just got to roll with it. Just roll with it.
Well, Palace's 2-0 defeat at Everton may not have been as big a surprise to some people as it was to others, but the weekend did have its fair share of shocks, which really made fools of anyone who decided to make predictions on how this season would go, including us. Now, last week, we did our best at trying to work out where people would end up. And, well, we obviously didn't have a clue because the two promoted teams that we said would get relegated both won, the aforementioned Ipswich and Hull City. Hull City beating Manchester United 2-0 at home. But even that wasn't the result of the weekend. I don't think that was the result of the weekend because also we saw Villa, who we thought would do reasonably well, and Brighton, who we thought, well, they would do well, but they might be a bit distracted later on in the season. And this is what I think was covering our predictions, was the disruptors, if you will, those middle-class clubs that in the last couple of seasons have had really, really strong seasons. Usually start with B, so they're like Brentford's, Bournemouth and Brightons of this world. And we thought, well, now they're all in Europe, are they going to struggle to be that disruptive influence? But they certainly managed it in the first weekend of the season, didn't they, Terry? All right, Bournemouth lost, but they very, very nearly won, didn't they?
Both of those games were terrific, and Bournemouth put in a really, really good shift against all of my concerns about Marco Rosa. Yes, it's just the one game, of course. I just have to point out here, because there are other podcasts that also do this. I mean, we don't. You're illustrating the fact that people sort of like say this about the middle class clubs that begin with B. There is one particular podcast that I listen to a lot, and they always, when they're talking about these middle class clubs that punch above their weight and really do well, they always mention the 3 clubs that begin with B.
Yeah.
Well, they never mention Crystal Palace, who have actually literally won 2 trophies in the Super Cup. But they never do. And I just think, well, why? Hang on a second. Anyway, it's Libero. Okay, it's Libero. I'm calling them out for that. But anyway, obviously I think probably there's as much about Villa as there is about Brighton in that result of the Amex. I mean, that just looks like a team that's actually in good shape, prepared for the start of the season, and a team that is in terrible shape and not prepared for the start of the season. And yeah, that's what you saw. I mean, we were joking a little bit about it beforehand. We saw, I hadn't actually looked at the stats for the match prior to going on, and I was shocked at just how dominant Brighton really, really were. It wasn't one of those 4-0s where, the team gets a sneaky, we get a couple of goals here and there. And actually, if you look at the underlying stats, it's not as bad. But no, it was truly, truly terrible. Yeah, I thought Bournemouth put in a really good show. Again, a lot of this, I think, is because City, what we saw last week against Arsenal in the Community Shield, we saw, I think, a bit of that, actually, quite a lot of that in the game against Bournemouth. I think City are undercooked. They've got more to do and there's more to come from them, but nevertheless, a good showing there from. But I think also special hilarious award for the hilariousness of hilarity, and that is Brentford 3, Tottenham 0. I mean, why do we do this to ourselves? The moment, even neutrals and haters, like say, you know what, Tottenham this year, lads, this year Tottenham will turn it around. And they may well, of course, they probably will, but what a Spursy way to start the comeback. Losing to Brentford.
Brentford are a decent team.
Yeah.
Keith Andrews has got them purring again. But after all that money, and after basically going on for the whole year, the reason we're like this is because we're down to our bare bones. Is it? Is it? Is it? Jan, was that the result of the weekend?
No. It was an interesting result because they did well to stay up at the end of last season. And I thought they will crack on now. They're making some serious signings. And they've got a serious coach. I mean, my God, is he serious? But no, it wasn't the result of the weekend. The result of the weekend actually runs a close second to the Manchester United Hull game. We should give them a big shout out because they really helped make the first weekend of the season memorable. But the biggest one's got to be Brighton Villa, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Just destroyed them. As Terry said, that stats page was like a crime scene. It was awful. But yeah, so they conceded 4 goals, one of which was a hilarious own goal, which it hit the post and hit Victor Lindelof in the face and then went in. So that was pretty bad. And then, of course, they had a player sent off, João Gomez, on his debut as well. So yeah, a real day to forget for them. But, I mean, they have sold their entire squad. I think there was only 1 or 2 players that took part in the final in Istanbul, won the Europa League. And, of course, Ollie Watkins wasn't there because he decided he didn't want to play for them anymore. So he's more or less torching his reputation with a club that clearly love him. The fans clearly love him. Why wouldn't they? Well, because he's decided he wants to go somewhere for a big payday in Saudi Arabia for whatever reason. So, yeah, a real day to forget for those guys. But talk about finishing the season on such a high and then starting on such a low. They should have been building on that and not conducting a fire sale and failing to hold on to one of the most sought-after strikers in the Premier League. So something really is wrong there. Just to add on that, they started terribly last season as well. There was a stat at some point, wasn't there, in the top 4 divisions, or even the top 5 divisions, they were the worst performing club after about 4 or 5 games. So this isn't unheard of for them, but it just feels like the manner of this defeat was so chaotic and so un-Villa-like. After one game, you shouldn't be drawing conclusions, but it feels like there's a lot to draw from this one, doesn't it?
Terry, there's 1 week left of the transfer window. They're still in profit over this transfer window by 120 million. Basically all of the money they got from Chelsea for Morgan Rogers. Yeah, they've seen a lot of players going through the door and there may be more to follow. well, Ollie Watkins obviously sounds like has no further career at Villa. What's going to happen in the next week? Are they going to be forced to make a load of panic purchases in the last week? And what sort of shape will that leave them in?
Yeah, how much of this is down to squad cost ratio rules as well and stuff like that? I mean, is this what's going on there? They've had to have this a bit of a fire sale to get some players off the wage bill? I don't know. It could easily just be a confluence of circumstances of players who have reached a point where they're ready to move on and the club are inclined to let them go. Tielemans as well, for example. I mean, like, that's a big miss as well, right? But in the past, they have demonstrated, that they can bring players in relatively good order, close to deadline day. And I would imagine they've not suddenly stopped becoming necessarily a badly run football club. Well, this is not good leadership and this is not a sign of a well-run club. But let us just say that they've had this extremely bad and unfortunate patch where they've had to ship a load of players. It's really ripped the guts out of the squad. And they've got a player who's really, really unhappy. But I would suggest to you that they do have a short list of players to come in to replace those players. Not going to be easy. It's certainly going to disrupt the start of their season. It may, in fact, disrupt their entire season. Jan's right to point out that they were poor last season, but of course they then turned it round and did really well. But their success last season was also based on a strategy of trying to score from outside the box. They scored a load of goals from outside the box, defying the XG gods. And it worked for them. It paid off. But I think that the worry is that might not work this time around, if indeed that's the strategy. Emery's a really good coach. And generally speaking, that club is a really well put together unit and has been for some time. It seems hard to imagine that it's all going to fall apart from them. But right now, of course, after a result like that, and obviously with the narrative of Ollie Watkins, it does look like it's falling apart from them. But yeah, a week later and things could be very different.
That sending off really did look like a player just thrown into a team frustrated and doing something stupid. The biggest purchase they've got this summer, they've got Johan Manzembe from Freiburg, who's a decent player. I don't think he was fully fit during the World Cup, was he, Terry?
No, not as far as I can remember. I mean, he is a decent player, but Freiburg is a very different club and a very different environment, very different football world to play in. And it's going to be a big transition, I think, for him. A lot of Bundesliga players can do that anyway. So, yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, I see on there they've also signed Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's a solid player these days, very much solid journeyman player, but I mean, they're not exactly setting things on fire right now. They do have Brian Maggio, who scored a brilliant goal in the Super Cup final, the UEFA Super Cup final. He looks really, really good. He's English, but he's from Luxembourg. I mean, you look at him and you think, my goodness, this kid, everyone's getting carried away. People were watching the Super Cup, getting carried away. There's your next Harry Kane, lads, which is obviously a massively appropriate thing to say about a 17-year-old boy. But you can see why, and when you do so, there are things happening, of course. But I mean, it's way too early, I would think, for any kind of lengthy Premier League stuff for that guy. So I think, apart from Arsenal, obviously, we're all maybe suffering from a bit of a World Cup hangover, and particularly the clubs that aren't used to having players spending time in the World Cup. But Villa seem to be just having a whole weight of new problems forming on them, and it's going to be a bit of a dark period, you think, for them. I wouldn't say they're going to get down, but yeah, the idea of them maybe finishing in that. Where did we place them? And who was it? It was me who did it, wasn't it?
We predicted that they would finish sixth, and it was me that picked them out as sixth.
Oh, it was you, was it? I beg your pardon. Okay, yeah, fair dues, yeah.
I was the one who decided that they had gone far enough.
Because that's the glory about this game that we did, and that is that we're all accountable, because, if any of us had disagreed, we should have put them in, earlier. So,
Exactly. Well, I've actually compared our predictions with other predictions that were made in other ways. So, The Guardian averaged out their journalists' predictions, and Villa came 7th in their one.
Yeah.
Opta on their one, based on numbers, I don't know how they do it when they've not even played any, they were predicting Villa to finish 5th, And the odds, the amalgamation of the betting odds, have Villa 7th favourite to win it. So we weren't that far away. We were in the right ballpark as far as that's concerned, but everyone's wrong on that one. But 1 week, what do we know? What can we really tell from 1 week? Well, we can't. We can't tell anything. All we can tell is that Erling Haaland had his hair cut. That's what we really know for sure.
Yeah. Thank God we're finally moving on to a topic that people want to hear about.
I have left the next 20 minutes open just to talk about Erling Haaland's new haircut and what it means for the whole of the season. And got it in there a week before the haircut window closes as well. So
nice and early.
After that, you have to stay with the same hairstyle for the whole season.
I didn't realise, is that true? God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's only for players though, right? I mean, other people can... Yeah.
It just makes it easier for commentators. Otherwise, if you're changing your hair every week, I mean, how would they know? How would they know, eh?
No, that's true. That's a good point. That would just baffle and confuse them all massively. Yeah, and quite a statement from old Erling there. Everyone was shocked. It's been a very chip papery moment, hasn't it? Lots of people got very excited about the haircut. I mean, it's a bold step. I mean, not being funny. For a guy to shave off his hair, Graham, you may remember I had beautiful flowing locks of hair all the way down almost to my arse.
You did.
And then I went and took a razor to it and took it all off. I can assure you, that was a big ass step that I took there.
It was quite a radical step because Terry had just appeared in an advertisement for bottled Guinness.
Yeah, it's true.
An advert in which he was dancing. I did find a bit of the making of the advert on YouTube. I can see if I can dig that up again. But between the time of... Jan is sitting there. Absolutely.
Sorry. Can we not talk about this is something normal that happens every week, right?
It didn't happen every week.
Sorry, I've known you for years, right? And I just found out today that you're a TV star from a Guinness advert.
But listen on, because after the advert aired, The Sun did a double-page spread on I've got it right here, actually.
You haven't. No, you don't.
This is brilliant. Why didn't someone have a good idea and have us stream this content?
Yes. Yeah, that person now is quite pleased.
Right, here we are.
He's
Here we are, listeners.
This is brilliant. This is great for radio, obviously.
Sorry, listeners. I'm holding up to the camera now.
There it is.
That's Terry with long hair. But that's how he looked afterward. He had all his hair cut off then.
Yeah.
Terry DeFellon, 31, admitted he couldn't resist answering the appeal for people with two left feet who could clear the dance floor in 5 minutes flat. The electricity worker from Brighton, who appears with long hair in the ad but has since had it cropped, said, "I get more laughs and applause when I hit the dance floor. I guess I just had that manic look they were after."
I didn't actually say any of those things.
I certainly believe that.
No, I didn't actually say any of those things. And I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit embarrassed about doing something for The Sun, but I would probably have to say it was more innocent times. Yes, I answered an advert for... I don't know why we're talking about this. We should be talking about football. But yes, I did.
No, we should definitely be talking about this.
I did that advert for Guinness. And yes, and that was it. And for a short while, I was a minor celebrity. The only thing I genuinely... I regret talking to The Sun. I should have told them to get fucked. And I regret turning down Celebrity Big Brother.
I think in the long term, though, Terry, Celebrity Big Brother would have been the wrong thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I mean, I just...
Anyway, so that's the precedent of someone with long, flowing golden locks just having them all cut off. And I think it's had pretty much a similar sort of impact, hasn't it, Jan? Jan, I mean, have you heard people who don't normally talk about football talking about Erling Haaland's haircut this week?
No.
No,
I haven't. It was mentioned once by the commentator in the game, and that was it. And that's, to be fair, as much talking that should happen about Erling Haaland's haircut. He had long hair, now he has short hair. And that's it. It looks quite nice, actually. I have to say, it's quite fetching. Suits him better.
Yeah, I think it's a good look, and I think he looked particularly imposing. When he was attempting to charge through the Bournemouth defence yesterday. So I think it suits him. I think he looks great. Obviously, it's the Samsung effect that I think everyone is worried about, isn't it?
All of his strength was in his hair.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we'll have to see about that. If he goes 3 games without scoring, that's be
exactly
it.
what
Once
be.
everyone starts thinking about what the hell am I going to do with all this money in my fantasy league team?
I'm not going to lie. The moment I saw that haircut, I thought, oh no, I put him in my team. Because I just thought, because that's it. This is the mass psychosis that comes with old ancient myths and legends, such as Samson and all his strength through his hair and all of that stuff.
Well,
that end badly for him. Is Haaland gonna be? I don't know. Did he get blinded or something, Samson? And his hair grew back and he pushed down the Etihad. I'm sure that happened.
By the end of the season, that's what people will be saying is exactly what happened.
Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I didn't do very well at Bible studies, as you can tell.
Is it a Bible story? Is it?
It is.
Pretty sure it is.
It is.
Yes, it's in the Bible.
Neither did I, Jan.
Clearly.
Well,
it's in a Bible story.
It's in a Bible story, lad. Oh dear.
Well, listeners, we'll obviously be returning with Haaland updates on a weekly basis. We don't know what's happened with his hair, whether someone will be using it. Maybe he sent it to Pep Guardiola. Maybe he's going to make a nice little wig for him. We don't know. We don't know if any other footballers are going to follow suit. We could be seeing a lot of players going for very short haircuts. But who knows? This is going to be obviously something that this season is going to be important. So expect the Sound of Football to be all over it.
Yeah, we'll be checking eBay for locks of Erling Haaland's hair and seeing how much they're going for.
You think there'll be a new stat? XH.
Well, it was certainly an unexpected haircut, wasn't it?
It was certainly.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes. Let's stop talking about hair. And let's come back to the FIFA story, because there's been a little development on it this week. Not that Gianni Infantino has seen the light and decided to leave the job. No. But it is something that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about this. Isn't it, Terry? UEFA has obviously been listening in and decided to go with your idea, haven't they?
They went totally with my idea. Well, our idea. We share the credit for all the correct ideas on this podcast between us. But yeah, right, my idea. It was, and that was that they should have an expanded version of the Relations League. And that makes the most sense to do that because the format already exists. It's relatively straightforward to build a timetable, a schedule of games, especially if you're checking out a FIFA's calendar. It leaves this room to do. And yeah, so Concacaf and UEFA are in talks to form and organise an expanded Nations League, and the AFC are sidling up to them apparently, saying, room for a little one, lads. Even though the AFC is actually quite large. It's clearly parking tanks on FIFA's lawn. It's putting Gianni Infantino under heaps and heaps of pressure, even more pressure than before. This is the moment when you start thinking about what the sponsors start thinking about now. I mean, obviously, the long-term FIFA sponsors are probably going to stay loyal, but at which point do they sort of like say, oh, actually, you know what? If these guys are serious and they do actually start their own alternative and don't participate in the World Cup, then where does that leave us and the money that we spend? How far are they willing to go to implement this, and how much of it is a bluff? And I think these are the things in my mind, because as we discussed 2 weeks ago, and as you said, Graham, that perhaps really actually all they want is Gianni out and the Club World Cup scrapped. That's really all UEFA want.
Yeah.
And what Concacaf want. They don't necessarily want to redraw the map. They don't want to start a revolution. But at some point, they'll have to actually say, they're going to have to press the starting pistol on this and say, well, we're going to do this. And at the moment, it's still very much like this is our plan. But at what point do they actually say, well, look, now we have to, because then they have to start booking venues and recruiting sponsors and, you know, changing stuff and all of that. And at which point then it becomes super, super serious.
Although the timescale of this sounds a way away, this project, if it gets off the ground, is meant to start in 2 years' time. Of course it is. It's meant to start after the next Euros. So in that international calendar that is meant to have all those World Cup qualifiers in it. So it's going to be that part of the calendar where they say, yes, okay, we have this competition coming up immediately after our next Euros, so it will be seamless for us, where there will be no problem not having a World Cup because we'll have our own World Cup. And it just won't have African teams and South American teams. But I don't think our sponsors will be too fussed about it because they'll be quite happy with the fact that we've got all of these teams in it. While on the other side, Gianni is with the South Americans and the Africans, who are, I think, some of them are going to start getting itchy. If it looks like this is going to be serious, how long are they going to give it before they decide this can't go on? I think you're right. I think UEFA really have to show they're serious. And that starts in a couple of weeks' time when the Women's Under-20s World Cup is meant to kick off. Yeah, and this is exactly what UEFA should be doing. They should be saying, right, okay, we've got things in place for this to go the long haul. And FIFA just don't have that at their disposal, do they?
No, I don't think FIFA have got much to come back with, other than getting their house in order and dismissing their president. That's what has been demanded. Concacaf and UEFA have said that his position is untenable because he tried to sell the World Cup. They've said we'll look at alternative and competing tournaments, and that's exactly what they're doing. And they kind of have to, really, don't they? You can't just say these things and not do anything about it. It feels like they're serious, and they need to be, because Infantino needs to go. I don't think there's anyone... Well, there are clearly people involved in football that don't want that to happen because he's still in place. He will hold on for as long as he can, but once the World Cup ceases to be the World Cup, then he's effectively brought down FIFA, hasn't he? Through his flirtation with American capitalism. And, they're calling his bluff with this one, and good for them. Let's see what he does. My view is that he's going to be dragged kicking and screaming out of that presidential office, and that his ego is too fragile, I think, to allow himself to just walk away from it, admitting he made a mistake because, he's been listening to the wrong people.
Terry, this week we saw Kevin Lamore removed from office at FIFA. Kevin Lamore, who obviously made very strongly worded comments about the leadership at FIFA. And that seems to have had an effect on some people who were perhaps a little less militant about getting rid of Infantino. There is now also rumours that certain African federations are thinking of backing someone to stand against him. It's all going in one direction. You think, well, there doesn't seem to be any movement from FIFA at all, apart from just saying, no, this is fine. Is this how you thought this would play out? Now we're into, about a month of it now?
Yeah. Gianni Infantino is just not the sort to just say, right, okay, yeah, I can see which way the wind is blowing here. It's the modern way. Leaders these days, they, even if they have been kind of disgraced or defenestrated in some way, or they've been shown up, their plans have been undone and exposed, is that in the past, you would expect that, particularly with political leaders, and I know Gianni is technically not this, but that actually they would say, well, okay, I was out of order, and as a matter of principle, I'm going to resign for the good of the service. And they just don't do that anymore. We live in an age of guys like, like Boris Johnson, like utterly shameless politicians who just lig around until they are dragged kicking and screaming. And I would suggest that Donald Trump has a very similar vibe about him. Look at what Donald Trump may or may not have engineered in his first term in office. This is the world that we live in. Leaders won't be held accountable for their mistakes, and they won't do the honourable and decent thing and step down when they should do. And Infantino's time is up. That is it. But he will have to be dragged, kicking and screaming, as Jan says, from office in order for that to happen. And it was always, I think, going to be that way. It would be a question of FIFA and Gianni testing UEFA. And it is, let's face it, Concacaf, yes, but UEFA is the driver here. It's testing UEFA's resolve to see whether or not just how far they are prepared to go. My feeling is that this Nations League expanded format will not happen, because I think that Gianni Infantino will be forced to leave office before it does. What I think will happen is, going back to the sponsors, I think that the good people of Coca-Cola and MasterCard and the other sponsors are going to go and say, listen, mate, if you don't bring UEFA and Concacaf nations to this next World Cup, we are taking you to court, chum, because this is what we paid our fight for. So it's up to you. So you do whatever has to be done to make that happen. And if that means you have to go, then you sling your hook. I'm sure they won't put it like that, but I think that that will probably be the conversation. And I think that that is probably what will happen. I would be very surprised if we see this expanded Nations League happen. Although I kind of hope it does happen, because there's a part of me that actually would like to see the whole... Actually, what am I saying? There's a part of me. There's a massive part of me that would like to... The most of me would like to see FIFA and FIFA tournaments completely brought down and something new come along. But I think that actually that's not what's going to happen.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that, won't we? But what are we going to be watching this weekend, I wonder? Well, we're going to be back watching the Premier League because on Friday night, Palace host the slightly less hirsute Manchester City. So, well, we'll see just how much of Erling Haaland's strength he's actually lost by having his hair cut. Also on Saturday, you've got Dortmund playing Hamburg in the Bundesliga. Terry, it's good to see that the BBC are going to continue with their free-to-air Bundesliga on Friday nights. But also as well, they've got 38 Serie A games. Loads of free-to-air football from the continent. It's looking good, isn't it, this season?
They're also doing La Liga clips as well. I mean, not full games, but they're doing clips as well from La Liga, which is terrific. And that's all you need, really. You don't need everything. Well, I don't need. I mean, there are people who do. But for those who do need everything, they can pay a subscription for it. So, yeah, I think it's terrific, to see stuff like that. And I'm very pleased that they're I can only assume it was a multi-year deal. It's clearly working for them. And, I mean, I just hope and would encourage people to get involved in certainly watching Bundesliga on the iPlayer, but, to an extent also Serie A as well. But as you pointed out in the last box set, Graham, it's very important, listeners, that you scan the QR code and pay for your TV license.
Yes, but one thing you don't have to pay for is the weekend box set.
Nope.
If you want to subscribe to our free newsletter, then get along to sofpodcast.com, click on the link for the weekend box set, and subscribe, and it will be on your inbox of Friday lunchtime. But that is all we have time for this week. So from me, Graham Sibley, from Jan Bilton, and from Terry DeFellon, it's goodbye.
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 Get in touch with us on Blue Sky or Instagram, where we are at Sound of Football. Or go to sofpodcast.com. Like us, share us, rate us and review us. Do it now!
Oh my god, what the f*** is this? You lost a bet or what? Oh my god, block me and erase my number, my friend.